It's just unfortunate to me, because when you try to slow down the conversation on Nelson Mandela, you've got people saying, oh, he was a terrorist, and you're like, okay, guy, enough of that. And that's how most people see it. When you present these arguments to people and you say, look, did you know Nelson Mandela killed a whole bunch of people? Most people they ignore you. They brush you off, and they're not going to hear it. They're not going to listen. It's an abrasive argument. So if you're going to make it, this is kind of off topic a little bit here, but if you're going to try and change someone's mind, if you're going to work in the realm of thought, you can't just throw it in people's faces. You can't be like that doomsday prophet on the corner screaming about asteroids, holding a sign that says the world is ending. The end is now. The end is near. It's all gonna die. Because that's kind of what it's like. It's like you're hitting people in the face with your ideas. You can't do that. Now, this is relevant because I had somebody on the page earlier that was just not being amicable whatsoever and was shouting about Nelson Mandela killing all these people. And quite frankly, especially on the internet where somebody just glances before they take the time to read, you can't just say something to the extent of, he's a mass murderer, and expect somebody to pay attention. Because when they look and they see you've said he's a mass murderer, they write you off as one of these chemtrail conspiracy kooks who probably really loves Alex Jones. And that's what happens. So if you're going to try and convince somebody on anything, and Nelson Mandela is just the example I'm using, if you're going to try and explain something, you can't throw it up in their face. You can't smash their face into it repeatedly. It's like that clip on Family Guy where the guy pulls out the picture of his kids in his wallet and then just smashes his wallet repeatedly into somebody's face. Look how cute my kids are. Whack, 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 whack. That's what it's like. And you cannot do that if you want to actually change their mind. If you want to actually educate them. If you want to recruit them to the cause. And that's just the way it is. Nelson Mandela did horrible things. Nobody's disputing that. But if you lead your conversation on the topic with, guess how many people he killed? Most people who don't know better and revere him as some sort of saint, they'll ignore you. And you will have done nothing. Now, speaking of Nelson Mandela, we've got two big headlines coming through this week. The President, the Prime Minister of Britain, and the Prime Minister of Denmark all took a selfie together at Nelson Mandela's remembrance ceremony. His funeral, if you will. I really don't care. I know a lot of people are like, how disrespectful. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's a selfie. I don't even like the word selfie. It's like something ridiculous a 12-year-old would say. They took a picture together. I don't care if they took a picture together. 3 world leaders taking one picture together. Oh well. I mean, really, we should be concerned with more important things. Quite frankly, as long as Barack Obama's not signing a bill he likes, I don't care what he's doing. I mean, I'm kind of glad he was in South Africa. I mean, I'm not happy about how much that inevitably cost. Major high five needs to go to Benjamin Netanyahu for staying home because it would cost too much. But quite frankly, I don't understand why people complain about stuff Obama does in terms of not governing. Every time Barack Obama is out playing golf, he's not ruling the country. He's not pushing socialist agenda. We should be happy about that. The more vacation the man takes, the better off the country is, because that's less time he's in the Oval Office. So if he wants to take a trip to South Africa and talk about how much Nelson Mandela meant to him, that's fine. You go right ahead. Because quite frankly, it means he's not signing a law. It means he's not pushing gun control. I don't know about you folks, but to me, that's good. To me, I would rather him be doing something stupid. So no, his selfie, I don't care. You know what? If I was sitting next to the Prime Minister of Britain, I'd probably want to take a picture with him too. Also, the Prime Minister of Denmark was pretty cute. That girl, the blonde, I don't blame him at all. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm sure my mom would probably cringe. How dare you take pictures? This is a funeral. I didn't raise you in a barn. Well, of course. But at the same time, come on. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. Okay. Mostly I'm kidding at this point, but I think you understand. Now, the other thing that people are talking about in the news is the fact that the sign language interpreter was basically standing up there and saying nothing. He was making gibberish hand signals, and nobody knows who the guy is. How awesome is that an example of government ridiculousness? They didn't consult the chief South African group for deaf people. They didn't ask that organization to send over somebody to sign. Who, you know, they could have fixed them up with a real professional who would have been probably honored to do it for free. They just grabbed whoever was like, I think I know sign language, and somebody just went up there and played the hokey pokey. I mean, that's effectively what it was. He was up there playing the hokey pokey, standing next to world leaders. I mean, what is that? How does that even happen? How do you get somebody that can't even do sign language appointed to this position? I know. I tell you what, a lot of people on Facebook, it's cracked me up. They're posting that. They're posting that video from Saturday Night Live with Chevy Chase, the hard of hearing guy. I think y'all remember it. And it's the black guy cups his hands around his mouth and shouts everything that Chevy Chase says. Exactly. It's ridiculous to that level in my mind. And quite frankly, I mean, I find it to be hilarious. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it was a security risk. And I'm like, no, it's South Africa. Nobody cares. But I just love it because it's a great example of government inefficiency. It's a great example of how government can't be bothered to do the most basic things because it's not their money. It's not their problem. It's the people's problem. And when you're dealing with other people's money or other people's property, nobody cares. It's the same reason nobody returns a rental car washed and cleaned. They call them, you know, it's a rental car. It's only got 40,000 miles. Yeah, but it's hard miles. Hard miles. So that's basically what it comes down to for government. It's like, sure, we're only going to be there 3 days, but it's going to be a hard 3 days. It's going to be a government 3 days. So That's kind of where I'm at in terms of the whole sign language guy. I mean, I kind of want to high-five him because that's hilarious. I mean, he was standing up there signing nothing. I mean, how hilarious would it be if there was somebody standing next to Barack Obama doing the hokey pokey or the chicken dance or something because he didn't know how to sign? We would all be laughing if it was Obama. So, there's that. But otherwise, to get outraged about this is kind of ridiculous, so. In my mind, I think it's much ado about nothing. That's where I see it. That's where I'm sitting on that. But I'd like to go ahead and move on. So how many of you have heard about the 6-year-old boy who was suspended from school for kissing a girl on the hand? Apparently it was music time or reading time or something, and the little boy leaned down and kissed a girl on the hand, and the other students tattled on him. Now, quite frankly, as a kid, I remember very much. I very distinctly remember kindergarten. I remember being 6 years old very clearly. I remember conversations I had with other kids at that age. I remember many conversations. I remember playing kickball. I remember swinging on the swing. I remember lots of stuff. So, the idea that we've got a little kid being called a sexual harasser, a sex offender, saying that he committed acts of sexual harassment because he kissed a little girl's hand, which psychologists say is normal behavior for a 6-year-old boy. The fact that we're suspending him and saying he's a sex offender is completely unacceptable. Whoever is the teacher, the principal, and the administrators of this school, all of them should be fired immediately. Why are the parents not beating down doors and dragging these people into the streets? Where is the outrage for this little boy? People are like, oh, that's not right. I'm going to leave a voicemail and send an email. That doesn't work. If you send a voicemail or an email, guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody's going to check those voicemails or emails. You know what I do with angry emails? I delete them. I don't even read them. Why would I? They're angry emails. I don't care what makes somebody else angry. If I get an angry voicemail, I'm not going to listen to it. I don't care. I work hard and I do my best to do my job and things of that nature. So why would it bother me if somebody else was upset? I'm doing my best. If they don't like it, there's something wrong with them. Now, in my case, that involves hard work and the notion of individual liberty and stuff like that. But these teachers and administrators also feel that way. And that's a problem. And that's the reason why these policies are not going to work. Calling and emailing, nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you want to make a difference, go make a difference. People should be beating down the doors of that school and refusing to let anything happen until those people are fired. Immediately. Especially the teacher. All right, folks, hope you have a great week. Be sure to check out